Chosen one, this is not just a video, it is a divine appointment. You didn't stumble across this by accident. Heaven has summoned you here because something supernatural is being released over your life right now. God says, your tears have activated your triumph. What you thought was breaking you has actually been building you. Every tear that hit your pillow, every cry that no one heard but him, it was not in vain. It was sacred. It was counted. And today, the Spirit of the Lord declares your weeping season has reached its expiration date. This is a kairos moment, a window in time where the natural collides with the eternal. You're not just here to be comforted, you're here to be confirmed, called, and catapulted. There is glory hidden in the grief you've survived, and this word is coming to extract it. This is your turnaround point. Pay attention, chosen one. Because if you catch what heaven is saying right now, chains will fall off, cycles will break, and your soul will rise. God has seen the silent battles, the invisible weight you carried when no one checked in, the times you showed up strong when you were crumbling inside. Chosen one, you were not crying in weakness, you were crying in warfare. You were birthing something in the spirit. Every tear was a seed, and heaven has declared it's harvest time, but you must not miss this moment. If you let this word pass by like just another message, you may walk past the door God is opening right now. This isn't about emotion, it's about activation. What's happening around you may look ordinary, but what's happening in you is prophetic. This is the birthing room of your breakthrough. Listen closely. In the spirit realm, tears are not wasted water. They are holy ink, writing your next chapter in the Lamb's book of life. You've cried enough, and now God says, I'm crowning you with what your pain tried to steal. There is a transformation in process. There is a revealing taking place. And this is the prophetic confirmation you've been waiting for. So before we go any further, I want you to activate this word in your life. Like this video, subscribe if your spirit is stirring, and most importantly, comment below, my tears were not wasted. When you write that, you're not just typing letters, you're making a declaration in the atmosphere. My tears were not wasted means that every moment you thought was forgotten is actually the foundation of your elevation. It is a spiritual decree that tells the enemy, I didn't drown, I was planted. You're claiming divine alignment with the move God is making in your life right now. Heaven responds to faith, and faith shows up in action. So take that action right now. Let your agreement be seen. Let your voice echo in the courts of heaven. You're not watching this by coincidence. You're watching this because you have reached the prophetic threshold, where the night must end and the morning must rise. The sorrow is real, but so is the glory coming out of it. Chosen one, your tears were never just emotional reactions. They were sacred transactions. In the courts of heaven, every drop has been collected, counted, and weighed with holy precision. The world may have overlooked your breaking points, but God was watching with the tenderness of a father and the strategy of a king. You see, in the spirit, your tears are not dismissed, they are preserved. You weren't just crying from pain, you were prophesying through pain. You were sowing in the spirit what you are now on the verge of reaping in power. Heaven keeps records. Psalm 56:8 says, You have taken account of my wanderings. Put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? God didn't let a single sigh go unnoticed. Every sleepless night, every battle you fought in silence, every time you smiled in front of others while breaking behind closed doors. Your tears were not lost to the carpet. They were caught by angels, bottled and stored. And now they are being poured back out, not as sorrow, but as breakthrough. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not weak. You are chosen. Chosen to endure and chosen to rise. When others ran from the weight, you carried it. When others broke under pressure, you were broken open. And out of that breaking, God is birthing glory. This is why the enemy tried to overwhelm you with despair, because he feared what your tears were building. The tears didn't stop your destiny, they fertilized it. And now God is saying, I am turning what was private pain into public power. That which you suffered in silence will become the very foundation for what you speak with fire. You are becoming a voice of triumph because you were once submerged in sorrow. You don't need to explain how you survived. You just need to stand. The evidence is in your breath. You are still here, and that alone is a prophecy fulfilled. You cried, and heaven responded. But what if I told you those cries weren't just emotional, they were prophetic codes? There's something powerful about what happens when the soul reaches its edge. It doesn't just weep, it groans with an authority that shakes the heavens. Chosen one, your cry did not echo into an empty void. It was thunder in the throne room. The moment you whispered, God help me, the angels stood at attention, because in the realm of the Spirit, desperation is a divine language. And God does not ignore his children when they speak his language of surrender. Exodus 3:7 records God's response to the cries of his people. I have surely seen the affliction of my people and have heard their cry, for I know their sorrows. The Israelites didn't need perfect prayers, they just needed honest ones, groans, cries, weeping, and that was enough to move God to action. Chosen one, you moved God. You didn't see it, but the moment you were bent over in pain, the heavens were bending toward you in compassion. And while you thought you were being ignored, you were actually being interceded for. Your cry sent shockwaves through the spirit realm. Demons trembled because your sound was a signal of survival. Angels descended because your voice carried destiny. You are not overlooked. You are not unheard. You are divinely audible in the realms of power, and your groan in the wilderness became your key to the promised land. This is why things intensified after your prayers. It's because you didn't just make noise. You made war. You declared, I refuse to die here, and heaven took notice. Don't despise the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Those nights rewrote your story. Those moments unlocked favor. Those tears weren't weakness. They were weapons. You didn't fail in the waiting. You were being fortified. Chosen one, the delay you've experienced was not a denial. It was divine deliverance in disguise. God wasn't ignoring your requests. He was orchestrating the outcome. Like a master sculptor, he saw what you couldn't. While you prayed for quick relief, he prepared you for long-term reign. Think of Lazarus. His sisters called for Jesus, expecting him to come immediately. But he waited, not minutes, days. And when he finally arrived, Lazarus had died. But here's the prophetic mystery. Jesus didn't come late. He came perfectly on time for a resurrection, not just a healing. Chosen one, sometimes God lets things die so that he can raise them in his glory, not yours. You felt abandoned, forgotten, maybe even cursed. But what you didn't see is that while you were questioning his silence, he was preparing your miracle. Your name was being spoken in rooms you didn't know existed. Doors were being aligned, the right people were being positioned. And most importantly, you were being transformed. Because the truth is, if God gave it to you when you first asked, you wouldn't have had the spiritual maturity to carry it. The delay wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were becoming the kind of vessel that could not only receive, but also sustain the weight of what's coming. Delay protected you from premature exposure. It guarded your destiny from wrong alignments. It built spiritual muscle in places where you were once emotionally fragile. So now, when the blessing comes, you won't be shaken. You'll be rooted. You won't shrink. You'll stand. And everyone who thought the delay was your disqualification will witness the display of divine orchestration in your life. Chosen one, Your breakthrough is certain because your delay was strategic. God waited, not because he didn't love you, but because he loved you too much to let you receive the promise too soon. And now, the trumpet is sounding. The wait is over. The tomb is opening, and like Lazarus, you're being called to come forth, not as a victim of delay, but as a living testimony of divine deliverance. Even when no one clapped for you, even when no one validated you, even when they doubted. Your calling minimized your pain or mocked your waiting. God was watching to see who you would become when no one was watching. Chosen one, you passed the test. You were never made to live for applause. You were made to carry anointing. And God knew that the private version of you, the broken, unseen, loyal version, was the true vessel of glory. So he tested you away from the stage. He developed you in the dark. Because greatness formed in silence always makes the loudest impact when revealed. Look at Job, stripped of everything, misunderstood by his friends, questioned by his own wife. He was left with nothing but raw faith. And that was enough for God to restore everything, double. You too have been tested in isolation, and now the same God who watched you grieve in private is preparing to reward you in public. Your silence has qualified you for a sound the world cannot ignore. Your humility is drawing a spotlight heaven approves of. And your integrity in the invisible places has triggered your invitation into the visible ones. You didn't need the world's validation to become valuable. You were already chosen. This season of testing is ending, and what is coming next will be undeniable. You'll no longer have to explain yourself. Your life will be the evidence. You'll no longer have to beg for a seat. Your table is being set, and God himself is sending the invitation. So, chosen one, stand tall. The private crushing was never meant to kill you. It was meant to crown you. And you're about to wear what you've wept for. You've made it this far, and we're only halfway through. The best is still unfolding. In the next sections, we will step deeper into what your pain has truly planted, and how heaven is preparing to reward you in ways that defy expectation. Chosen one, what if I told you that while you were mourning, something beautiful was being planted in secret? Your weeping season wasn't just a period of pain, it was a divine planting season. Every tear you cried was a seed soaked in faith, even when your faith felt too weak to speak. God was using your sorrow to water something supernatural. You thought you were breaking down, but in the spirit, something was breaking open. Psalm 126:5 says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." You didn't just cry, you sowed. You sowed prayers. You sowed obedience. You sowed worship when you had no strength left to lift your hands. And now, heaven is announcing that the reaping season is here. God is not mocked. What you planted. In pain, you will gather in joy. This is not poetic language. This is prophetic truth. Some of the greatest gardens are grown in silence, underground, unseen. And so were you. You were planted, not buried, hidden, not forgotten. And now the soil is shifting. The ground beneath you is shaking because resurrection power is reaching up from underneath. The garden of your next level is blooming. And it's not because of outside help. It's because God remembered every drop of the rain you endured. You're not just going to grow, you're going to flourish. You're not just going to walk, you're going to soar. Your roots went deep so that your reach can go far. And everyone who walked away thinking nothing would ever come of you, they're about to see the harvest they never expected. You wept for years, and God says, now you will dance. You struggled in silence, and now He says, now you will shine. You waited in the shadows, and now He says, step into the light. You are not an afterthought. You are a blueprint. You are not broken beyond repair. You are rebuilt for glory. And now the Spirit of the Lord is saying, what tried to drown you is now what God is using to raise you. The tears that once blurred your vision are now clearing the path for your promotion. The very places you cried in are now becoming holy ground. Your history will become someone else's healing. You will not only rise, you will raise others. This moment is not just about you escaping pain, it's about you embodying purpose. You are becoming the proof that endurance works. You are becoming the evidence that pain births power. And you are about to become the testimony your enemies never expected and your soul always knew was coming. Chosen. 1. You've been through enough mourning. It's time for movement. The season of sitting in sorrow has expired. Heaven is shifting. Your posture. You're no longer sitting in the ashes. You are standing in authority. Isaiah 61 speaks directly to this. To give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. You wore grief like a cloak. But now God is dressing you in praise. You walked with heaviness. But now you are walking with the oil of joy. This is not just a better day, it is a new season, a supernatural one. The winds have shifted, the oil is flowing, and the praise in your spirit is about to break through every chain that tried to silence your destiny. You cried in a prison, but you're about to praise in a palace. Like Joseph, betrayed, sold, imprisoned, and then suddenly elevated to power. The key to his elevation wasn't in the applause of men. It was in the preparation of pain. God trusted him with hardship because he destined him for high places. And so it is with you. God trusted you with sorrow because he could trust you with glory. You didn't curse God when it got hard. You didn't give up when you felt alone. And now heaven is announcing over your life, the mourning has ended. The victory is now. The celebration is not future, it is present. You will no longer identify with suffering, you will identify with triumph. And don't be surprised when those who once judged your pain cannot recognize your promise. Like Joseph's brothers, they won't even recognize the person God has transformed you into. Your pain changed your posture, your tears changed your tone. You don't speak from wounds, you speak from wisdom now. The rejection, the ridicule, the isolation, it was all divine disguise. God hid you in pain so he could reveal you in power. Now your presence carries weight. Now your words carry fire. Now your life carries evidence. It is certain. Your moment has come. Your tears have built it. Your faith has sealed it. Heaven has signed off on it. And now the delivery is being made, not by man's hand, but by God's hand. The promise is not delayed any longer. It is here, overflow, 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 in your finances, in your mind, in your relationships, in your identity, in your anointing. The dam is breaking. The river is flowing. The dry season is ending. And it's all because you didn't quit when quitting would have been easier. Chosen one, your miracle is not a maybe. It's not up for debate. It is here. It is unfolding. And it is undeniable. Chosen one, the crown was always hidden in the cry. What looked like humiliation was actually heaven's coronation process. You didn't lose your worth when they walked away. You didn't miss your calling when life caved in. That season didn't strip you, it sealed you, like David, who wept. In caves long before he wore a crown, you were being trained in private for a victory that would one day be undeniable. God allowed the hiding because he knew when he revealed you, it would shake the very atmosphere. He watched you weep in silence, and now he's about to reward you in the open. You are not the same person who walked into the wilderness. You are not the same vessel who fell on their knees, exhausted, with nothing left to give. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt into someone hell would regret ever attacking. When David cried out in the wilderness, running for his life, mocked by men, abandoned by those he once served, God did not turn away. He drew near. He was forming a king out of the crushed. And you, chosen one, are that same kind of soul, built in silence, prepared in suffering, anointed in obscurity, and now ready to rise. Do you feel it? The ground beneath your feet is sacred. Now, the very places that once felt like tombs have become wombs of resurrection. You are not overlooked. You are not an extra in someone else's story. You are the main character of a divine plot, and heaven has penned your next scene in triumph, not tragedy. You are meant for this. You are built for this. You are crowned for this. God says, "The mantle I placed on you did not fall off when you fell to your knees in grief. It was fastened tighter. Your tears did not disqualify you. They reinforced your divine assignment. Chosen one, your enemies won't recognize you when this next wave of glory hits." Just as Joseph's brothers stood before him in Egypt, unable to recognize the brother they sold, so too will those who discounted you be confounded. What once looked like your defeat has become the disguise of your destiny. They thought they buried you, but they didn't know you were a seed. And God says, the sprouting has begun. The shift is already in motion. The sorrow is already transforming into strength. The spiritual climate around you is changing, and the warfare that once wore you out will now fuel your authority. You are dangerous. Now, not because of what you have, but because of what you've overcome, and that scares the enemy. You are walking proof that pain cannot kill purpose, that storms cannot sink destiny, and that weeping does not mean weakness. It means warfare was happening inside your spirit. It is certain your moment has come. Overflow, overflow, overflow. This is no longer the season of explaining yourself. This is the season where God proves himself through you. The very ones who tried to write your ending will now have to witness your new beginning. They will see you rise. They will see you restored. And they will see that it was the hand of God all along. This is where the mourning ends. This is where the movement begins. This is where the story turns. Not because of what you did, but because of who you are. You are a carrier of glory. You are a vessel of breakthrough. You are a living prophecy, walking in fulfillment. The heavens have shifted, the angels are mobilized, the oil is flowing, and the trumpet is sounding. Chosen one, everything you went through has led you to this very moment. And the next step is not to recover, it is to reign. Get ready. Because the next chapter is not written in tears, it is written in triumph. Chosen one, hear this now, and let it settle into the deepest parts of your spirit. Your tears have activated your triumph, not just symbolically, not just emotionally, but prophetically, spiritually, tangibly. The very pain that threatened to destroy you has opened the floodgates of divine release. Heaven has moved, the realm of glory has responded, and the one who watched you cry through the night has declared, "Now it is time to rise." You didn't survive for nothing. You didn't cry for nothing. You didn't wait, war, worship, or wrestle through the dark for nothing. Every tear was counted. Every groan was translated into power. And now, the verdict from heaven has been spoken over your life. Triumph is yours. This is the turning point. Not next week, not someday. Now, the weeping has served its purpose. The night has surrendered to mourning. And with it comes restoration, elevation, and acceleration. You have stepped into the fulfillment of what your faith barely held on to. The breakthrough isn't just near, it's here. It's hovering over you like rain-laden clouds ready to burst. It's pressing at the edge of your reality, waiting only for your agreement. Chosen one, you are not the same. The fire changed you, the tears transformed you, and now you emerge, not as the wounded, but as the warrior. You're not returning to who you were. You're becoming who God always knew you were, refined, strengthened, crowned in resilience, clothed in purpose. The winds of reversal are blowing, the weight is lifting, and everything that was stolen, peace, joy, clarity, hope, is being restored with divine interest. God is not just repaying you, He's rewarding you, not just with what you lost, But with what you never knew was waiting, there is a roar in your spirit now, and it's no longer pain, it's power. It's prophecy coming alive in your bones. It's the sound of resurrection, of chains breaking, of destiny calling your name. You have crossed over. The old chapter is closed. The pen is in God's hand, and He's writing a story of beauty, power, and overflowing joy from the very ink of your former sorrow. You are the evidence that God still lifts the lowly, that He still raises the humble, that He still hears the cries of the brokenhearted. You are the miracle walking, talking, breathing. And what happens next will not be small, it will be divine. So rise with boldness, walk with fire, speak with a faith. Live with the full awareness that heaven has moved for you. Declare it, embrace it, receive it now. Comment below, I receive it. Write it like a decree. Let it be your spiritual signature in agreement with what God has spoken over your life. Let the enemy see it. Let your own soul see it. Let heaven echo it back into your future. You are not weeping anymore. You are winning. You are not defeated. You are destined. You are not broken. You are blessed beyond measure. Chosen one, it is done. Your miracle begins now.